Good morning, everybody. A little coffee this morning. Mike Taper, first one in. Good to see you this morning, Mike. Mark G, good morning. Jeremy, good morning. Good to see you this morning. Ricky, good to have you this morning. Austin, hope everything's well out in Texas. Good to see you guys this morning. Mark's got a bunch of family coming over today and having to adjust his plans because of the weather. I've been there and done that. That's always fun with a hot grill. Okay, one more beer. Good morning. Bob, good morning. Good to see you this morning. Canadian Jim, good morning. Miss Rhonda, good morning. Hope everybody's good over in Hinesville. A little early to be typing, ain't it, Rhonda? Well, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, thank y'all for showing up this morning for the Jus Piddlin morning show. Gavin, good evening, mate. Good to see you, Gavin. Hope everything's been well. Yeah, we're going to talk about the weather here in a minute. Rhonda, it's not looking good for today. I guess it is if you plan on having a lazy day in your chair watching it rain all day, but if you've got plans, it doesn't look too good. So a little quick channel update and then we'll get started. First, thank y'all for coming this morning. And if you catch it on the replay, it's going to be up for 24 hours. If you catch it on replay, I appreciate you checking it out. Before you guys leave, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. That helps out a great deal. I appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. I think you'll enjoy it. Also, check out my website, juspidlinbbq.com, for hats and stickers and wood signs and other stuff that I have on there. So I'm trying to put stuff on there as regularly as I can. So check that out as well. So first off, let's talk about the weather. Today it's going to be high of 82, but scattered thunderstorms. Mostly cloudy with scattered thunderstorms. We didn't film a video yesterday because it rained all day yesterday. Most of the day. Just about the time I started thinking maybe we can get a video in, it would start raining again. So didn't do a video yesterday. Planning on doing the video today. We're going to do some chicken fajitas on the Gaucho grill. If we can get it in between the rain. I don't know if we can or not, so we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we can. We did work on the little barbecue shack that we're trying to do out there. And so basically we did take some pictures yesterday. Basically, it's a greenhouse. When we bought the house, the greenhouse was already out there. But it was, 4 walls on it with a door. So what we've done yesterday is we took the whole siding off of what will be the front of it and cleaned it out. And I don't know how you guys are and gals are where you live as far as having to take off garbage, trash. But we used to have a place, it was less than a mile down the road. You just took it down there, drove up on a little hill, threw it in there. Well, I guess because so many people were abusing it and just throwing crap in there that they shouldn't throw in there, or, whatever the case may be, they closed it. So now there's only one place in the whole county where you can take trash that doesn't fit in your green trash can out by the curb. So yesterday we cleaned out the greenhouse, had a bunch of boxes from grills and old camping chairs and all kind of crap like that. So we loaded up in the truck. We had to drive 20 miles round trip, and then we had to pay $8 to throw the stuff in there. I never thought I would drive 20 miles and pay $8 just to throw some garbage away. But that's what we have come to. I think Canadian Jim is sending his weather down to Minnesota this week. It was 79 the other day here, and then a cold front blew in, and it snowed. Austin, I saw y'all got a ton of snow. Yesterday was 75, and we have another front coming, supposed to be cold. Wow. Y'all don't know how to dress. Mark says, I have to take my own to the county dump. Yeah, convenience center. There's nothing convenient about it. Nothing convenient about it. First of all, another perfect reason why you should not trust the GPS. But I guess if you're in a civilized world, the GPS is accurate. But here, when you're out in the middle of nowhere, there's dirt roads that the GPS has never been on. Well, this convenience center happens to be on one of those. So I put the address that the convenience center has on their website into the GPS, and it took me down a dirt road, and it says, you have arrived. Well, no, I hadn't arrived, because it's a field full of planted pines. And then over here, it's this guy's driveway. Pretty sure he's not the convenience center. So look up the directions on the internet, and it's got me coming in from some other road we didn't even turn on. Long story short, we turned around twice before we found it. By that time, I'm aggravated. And then I'm even more aggravated that I've got to pay this guy to throw my trash away, and it's raining. And 20 miles later, and an hour later, I'm back at the house. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. I think I'm just going to start piling the crap up on my cool deck and just lighting it on fire. Anyway, that was my experience cleaning out the bed. But the good thing is we did get it cleaned out, and we got a little work done on it yesterday before the rain started coming down pretty hard, and so we had to stop there. We also found some carpenter bees and a wasp nest that we had to deal with yesterday. I did manage to cook a little bit yesterday. I cooked some pork chops, Brussels sprouts, and bacon wrapped asparagus. So we threw that on the grill. But it was on the pellet smoker underneath. I can get away with cooking on my pellet smokers underneath my back porch. The covering over my back porch, the underside of it is lined with vinyl strips. And I have already slightly warped a couple of them with a chimney starter. So that's not recommended. But with the pellet smokers, they don't put out enough radiant heat toward the top where it's going to bother anything. So on rainy days, I can still get away with cooking on my pellet smokers underneath my back porch. But the other grills, I can't do that with. Stephen Manis, we have to pay to dump construction material here. That's cheap. Our fee is $65 per truckload. Yeah, Crazy Pop, good morning. Good to have you. Stephen, by the way, good to have you. Hope everything's going well for you. The real Joey B. Buenos dias. West Texas weather will change daily. Now you done got Mike Tabor started. No, there was no snakes. We did throw away, you can see it in my earlier videos. The back porch used to be covered in like an outdoor fake grass type carpet. And it started wearing and getting holes in it. So we just pulled all of it up. Now it's just bare wood. And I really kind of like it better. But we had just had it piled up out there by the fence. We took it off yesterday too. So we got some stuff accomplished yesterday. It was just the whole trip to the convenience center. There are times when I'm doing something and the whole time I'm doing it, I'm thinking, this is one of the stupidest things I've ever done. I can't believe I'm doing this. And when I was out at the convenience center, after hunting it down, that's the feeling that I got. I can't believe I'm driving 20 miles and paying to throw my trash away. But I did. But the bigger picture was I got the stuff thrown away. So that was good. It's going to take us a little while. I haven't figured out yet how I actually want to finish. And by finish, I mean, the finishing that I want on the inside of the barbecue shack. I don't know exactly how I want to do it yet. I got some ideas in mind, but it's going to take a little work. It'll be a couple weeks before it's done, that's for sure. Don't burn stuff in your backyard. You might get a visit from Al Gore or the local fire department or something, because I'm sure I didn't get a permit and all that good stuff. Tennessee beat South Carolina and Clemson rolled Boston College. It's a great day. Man, I'm gonna tell you, that Tennessee game was great to see them finally put a game together and play like I think they should be playing. I mean, that was a complete game, offense, defense, special teams. Special teams came up big with 14 points. Just a great game and great atmosphere. That stadium was rocking. I've been there twice. Me and Brandy's been there once. And that's a great environment when things are rocking in there. That's a loud place and a cool place to be. And so I'm sure that was a fun night for all those folks, but that was a great game. That was good to see. The real Joey B is going to rotisserie something. Now, y'all need to explain to me what that is, because I don't have any idea, but it sounds pretty cool and I might like to try it. We have a pit and everyone just dumps that kind of stuff in it, and then in September every year, they burn it for the high school homecoming bonfire. Wow, that's pretty cool. Matt, good morning. Good to see you. Matt, looks like you've been doing a lot of running lately, brother. I can't believe Mike Tabor don't even know what it is. It must be something really special. Man, I'm glad you could too, man. It's always good to see you on here. How's the Gaucho Grill? All right, so appreciate you asking that. I cooked on it. I did the inaugural cook on it the other night. And I did it Friday, so it was after work. And I knew I wasn't going to have a whole lot of time, to piddle around with some ingredients and all that stuff. So I just went and got some pre-patted hamburgers. Now, these weren't like Bubba burgers or something. They were pre-patted by the grocery store, real ground beef, But they were already formed up in a pack. So I just bought those. And I did some onions and I just sliced them. And then with a toothpick both sides all the way to the middle so it would hold together as a disc. So I could put those on the grill. And so I did the burgers. Oh, and I did some sausage. So burgers, sausage, and onions. And just went out there and started a fire. And man, I love it. That thing is so fun to cook with. That's the kind of cooking that I enjoy. Sometimes, you know, sometimes I love going out there and hitting that button on that uh, pellet grill, walking away, going in, getting the stuff ready, going back, putting it on, and just, you know, when times of the essence or you don't have much time and you don't feel like messing around with a whole lot of stuff, you know, that pellet grill is awesome. But if I could choose the kind of cooking that I wanted to do every day, it would be like that Gaucho grill or the Watchman Stove or something. Just something that I can mess around with and do different stuff with and interact with it, and to me that's relaxing. I forget about everything else and I'm just enjoying messing with the coals and the wood and all that stuff. So it's marinated pork butt for 24 hours, then make cubanos for the rest of the week. I can get down with that. That sounds pretty good. Matt's on taper week for the half marathon next weekend at Disney. Matt, man, I gotta say I'm proud of you. That's that's great. That's great that you're doing all that. I admire that. Um, so back to the gaucho. At first, I've never used one before. So at first I was gonna, start some lump charcoal in my chimney and then pour it into that bossetto over there where you start your fire, lit coals in there, and then put some wood on top. But then I got to looking at the rack over there and I thought, well, that's kind of like a chimney starter already in a way. So I just put two little woolly starters down in there and then kind of stacked my lump charcoal over it and lit those starters from the bottom. And so you don't even need a chimney starter. So it lit by itself right there. And then I got some kiln dried wood. There's a kiln 15 miles from me that do the little bags. I don't know if y'all have these where you guys live, but grocery stores and supply stores have bags of wood, I don't know, they're like $5 or $6 a bag or something. Well, there's a place 15 miles from here that makes bags like that, and they have a big kiln and they kiln dry it. Well, I just go down there and buy a whole pallet at a time, and so it's already kiln dried and everything, so I didn't have to worry about it being wet. So I just put a couple of those pieces on top of the lit lump charcoal, and it burns down. The hot coals drop through the bottom, and then I got my little rake and I rake them under the grill grate. So at first, uh, let me get to Austin's thing first, real quick. Something caught my eye. I know you dislike Myron Mixon, but have you seen his bark pellet smoker? The design of it looks interesting to me. The price is not going to work, but it looks nice. Um, And Steven says Dick's has lumberjack pellets on the sale for $9.98 a bag. Order 4 and free shipping. So that's a good tip there, Steven. So let me talk about that for real quick, Austin. I know I've said that in the past about Myron. First of all, let me say I don't know him. I'm just going off of the persona that he puts out there on TV sometimes. And, after talking about it some, I got to thinking about it. Sometimes on those TV shows like Pitmaster and all that stuff, sometimes the way it's edited might portray a person a certain way that might not really be true, So I'm sure I'm not getting the full story about Myron as far as his persona. I think a lot of it is accurate, but I don't know him. Now, with that being said, I got a new perspective on him. Harley met him. I forget where he was at. He was at a cook, but Harley met him, and after Harley talked to him for a little bit, he was totally different speaking to him than he was on TV. By that I mean he wasn't a jackass to Harley or nothing. He was helpful and all that stuff. So I think probably judging somebody that's on TV for what is shown on TV is probably not the correct thing to do. And so I probably shouldn't make those assumptions until I meet the people in person, I guess is what I'm saying. So just kind of clarify that a little bit. It's not that I don't like him because I don't know him. I just hate seeing people be asses to people for not really any reason, But I've seen one of his pellet grills, but I don't know if it's the same one that you're talking about. Yeah, and his smokers, he's not going to do anything that he's not going to make some money on. So he's going to make it worth his while. So back to the gaucho. So after the fire's going and everything, I'm thinking, man, this is really cool. I mean, I love fire anyway. I love fire. My daddy loved fire. Harley loves fire. But then I got to thinking, it takes a little bit for the hot coals to start falling down, and you can kind of stir them, shake them up a little bit for it to help out that process. But then I started raking them over, but I thought, it's going to take a lot of coals to produce enough heat to, cook something. I thought, but I was wrong. You'll be surprised at the heat that is put out by just, a handful of scattered out coals. And so I started it on the 2 settings down. I set the grill grate and cooked like that for a little while, but then I ended up raising it up to the second highest setting, and it was still cooking. And you got to remember too, the whole time you're cooking, more coals are getting ready over here as long as you keep the fire going over there. So, and then you can just continually rake them over. You can raise and lower the grill grate. You can rearrange your coals however you want to. I mean, it was great. I really enjoyed doing that. And I tell you, I mean, the burgers were okay because, they weren't like my homemade burgers or nothing. And they were, they ended up shrinking up to about like a hockey puck. But the experience was better than the actual burgers were, but really cool. I love that thing. And it's big as far as the whole unit. I'll tell you this too, that surprised me. I was curious, because it's got that little drawer below the cooking surface you can open up, and you can store your tools in there if you want to when you're not cooking on them. But it's also supposed to be used as a little warming rack. You can put stuff in there to keep warm. Now, I would recommend, if you're going to do that, to get one of those tinfoil pans or something to put whatever you're going to keep warm in there and wrap it in foil and put in there, because ash does fall down into there through some little holes. I'll talk about that on my video. But that thing, I mean, it definitely will. I didn't know if it was really going to create enough heat in there to keep anything really warm, but it does. All that fire brick really absorbs that heat and heats up really the whole unit. And it does get warm in there, so that's going to be pretty fun to mess with too. So really everything that I experienced with it so far has been perfect. I mean, I love it. Love cooking on it. That's the kind of cooking I like doing. So and it's just kind of relaxing to me. So then after we got done with that, I was in the mood for, keep that fire going. So we uncovered the Watchman Stove, and I took the 2 logs that were still burning in there with some tongs and just picked them up, went over there and dropped them in the Watchman Stove, and we started a fire in the Watchman Stove. And I think we stayed out there by the Watchman until about midnight under the stars. It was a beautiful night, and listening to some tunes and all that good stuff. So Friday night was a great night. Got to cook on the gaucho and then fired up the Watchman Stove, and me and Brandy sat out there and had a good night. It was nice. So love the gaucho. Love it. Cabela sold a cheap brand of pellet smoker with Myron's name on it. Yeah. And Matt, that's kind of the point that I was making. Matt says you got to remember drama sells, and so does being an asshole, where people want to see you not do well. Yeah. And I think that's a lot of some of, what happens on TV is obviously they want people to watch, and they kind of expect that from Myron. So that's what they give them. But, from what Harley says, he's actually a really good dude, really good guy. So I'd like to meet him one day and be the judge for myself. Many of the shows on Food Network have turned into reality TV, in my opinion. Even HGTV House Hunters too. Yeah. It seems like, especially on HGTV, all the house hunters and rebuilding houses and flipping houses and all that stuff seems scripted. Uh, all these reality stuff, you don't really know what's reality and what's not anymore on TV. And the Food Network, I remember way back in the day, when Emerald was on, and I mean, Emerald was just a cooking show. I mean, he cooked. That was it. A lot of other shows like that, they just cooked. And now you're right, it's got to be drama, and it's got to be, a competition, and people are getting cut and all this stuff. Well, and, same with music channels, CMT and all that. Look on CMT, and half the time they're not showing music. That's some kind of show or something else. So, Austin, me and the old Pit Boss cabinet smoker have been up all night smoking pork butts in the crisp 30-degree weather. I need a good fire to go with coffee. Yeah, and that's something else that we talked about when me and Brandy were out there with the gaucho, because she said, you know, you can really feel the heat just standing in front of it. And I said, yeah, this is the kind of grill that's going to be fun when it gets cool, nice, crisp air, and you're cooking on that thing, and you know it'll keep you warm while you're grilling and that kind of stuff. So again, it's going to be really fun, especially getting into this time of year to cook on it. Maybe in the summertime, not so much, but it's going to be fun. Matt, that's a great. I it blows my mind. First of all, uh, that house hunters thing. You know, here, 3 bedroom, 2 bath house with a pool. You know, you can get between 100 and $150,000. Out in California, it's a $1 million house. It blows my mind. And these people, just like you say, they make $75,000 a year, and their budget's $3 million. What bank do they have? And what is that payment going to be? I say that all the time. Well, our budget's going to be $850,000. I can't even. I don't even. I can't even comprehend that. If we only had more piddling videos to watch. I appreciate that, Jeremy. And these aren't scripted. They're gonna be real. Whether they're good or bad, they're gonna be real. No, Gavin, it is not only in Oz that you get rubbish. We have rubbish over here as well. They have the reality bank. Mark G, in a couple weeks, I'm helping a 24-hour cook a Brunswick stew at church. Best around, we do 350 to 400 quarts. Wow. So, Mark, what are y'all cooking? What are y'all cooking that in? Eddie Hanks, good morning, brother. I bet if the Food Channel wanted Sandy to be someone he wasn't, he wouldn't do it. No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it, Eddie. First of all, Eddie, uh, that trip that y'all went on, man, that was some beautiful pictures you shared. I appreciate you sharing that. I've always wanted to go out to Colorado. Brandy don't want to go because she says it snows too much out there, but I can just picture in front of a big meadow or something, just crisp, clean air, open space with no stupid human beings anywhere, and you can just breathe and relax. That's the kind of places I like. But back to your point, Eddie, no, I would not. And there's actually, and I'm not going to say names. You might be able to figure it out. There's actually a country singer that is from this area where I'm at. Grew up here all his life. He has family here. But it's funny how when he got to Nashville, all of a sudden the pronunciation of his last name changed. And then some of his relatives that live here have actually started changing the pronunciation of their last name, but some of them hadn't. But I'm not changing my last name for anybody or how I pronounce it. I don't care what you pay me for. But some people are willing to do certain things for the Benjamins. I'm going to advertise my house online and sell it to house hunter people for 500,000. Nice big house in the lush, sandy West Texas plains. That sounds like a good idea. Large cast iron kettles. One is over 100 years old. Man, that is awesome. Mark, if when you do that, I'd like to see some pictures of that, if you don't mind. Eddie says, you give me the fever cooking with that wood. I had to fire up the old girl yesterday. I saw it. The wood cooker looked like a lot of fun. Man, it is. It is. And I hope I get it fired up again today. I was actually pretty disappointed yesterday when I couldn't cook on it yesterday because it was raining, but I can't pull it under the back porch. First of all, it's tall. I mean, it's big. I didn't realize how big it was from pictures and videos and stuff, but it's big. Now, the cooking surface itself, I'll measure it and give you all that stuff when I do a video, but hopefully it's today. But it's not the biggest cooking surface that I have, but the grill itself, and with it being on the stand and everything, it's just big. I got the cover on it out there, and that cover is awesome. Probably one of the better covers I've seen for a grill. But with the cover on it, it looks like a huge chest freezer or something is out there, like a mini refrigerator or something. Mike Tabor, there are a lot of stupid people out there. They're all smoking pot and trying to be hippies. Mike, you're right. I don't think you can get away from it. And that's terrible for me to say. I guess it's not terrible for me to say because I just feel like it's the truth. I just feel like everywhere I go, or it's one of two things. Either A, everywhere I go, somehow there's stupid people there, or I'm the stupid person. It's A or B. But Brandy says it, and my Aunt Carol in Tennessee, she says it. Because my uncle, my daddy, my brother, me, it all seems like stupid people are going to find the Smiths somewhere. Me, my brother, when my daddy was here, my uncle, they're going to find us. Never fails. Every time we go visit my aunt and uncle up there in Tennessee, we'll be sitting there in the living room or something, phone rings, and it's some telemarketer that's calling my uncle. And then he's one that can't say, I'm not interested and hang up. He likes to play with them, mess with them, you know. And they're going to find us. It never fails at the grocery store. I'm always going to get in the line behind somebody that's got to go put something back or forgot to do this or their car don't work or, something every time. Or shipping stuff. Pull up at the post office. Okay. Post office is on the right side of the road. I'm in the right lane to pull up in front of the post office. There's always idiots coming this way and pull across and park against the flow of traffic. Burns me up. See now, Mike, you're getting me fired up. So I don't think you can get away from the stupid people. That's my point. I just don't think you can. And it seems like they're growing more rapidly than reasonable people are. Oh, Eddie, it was a bad night. It was a great afternoon because Tennessee played a great game yesterday, and then it ended up being a bad night last night. The Irish looked like they had never played football before. They really did. Maybe they need to start turning the sprinklers on during practice and start practicing in the rain or something, because they didn't even know how to act in the rain. That was terrible. And Harbaugh, something about that guy just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know. He's like he looks like a creepy uncle or something, you know? I mean, he's just weird. He's a weird dude. Matt says I've got the stupid magnetism as well. We must be related to them because I seem to be a magnet for stupid people. All right, so, and again, this is why I like my channel, because you guys and gals seem to get, my experiences too, and kind of feel what I'm talking about some, because I swear I feel like sometimes I'm one of the only ones left on the planet that doesn't see things like the majority of people in California and Oregon and, places like that have weird outlooks on a lot of stuff. It seems like more and more that's becoming the majority, and I can't comprehend that Americans are actually thinking that way. So it's good to see that there's still people out there that are reasonable, common sense human beings out there. I watched a lady do that at Sam's Club yesterday, and she blocked the road just to get a parking spot because she didn't want to walk. And you know what, Austin, have you ever noticed when that happens, they will run you over to get a spot, 2 spots closer to the door, and then when they get out, they're the ones that probably should have been walking a little bit farther. You know what I mean? Well, do you wonder why? Have you seen Common Core math? Yeah. Oh man, I don't even want to get started on the education stuff. You're exactly right, Gavin. Try living close to Washington, D.C. I'm 2 hours south, but some days I wonder, man, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. If you've got to be that, I don't even know what to call it. To qualify to be a politician, if you have to put everything aside, all common sense, all of your principles, all of your morals, just to make sure that your side wins at all cost, no matter if it's best for the country. That's what has been lost with the politicians. It's all about which side you're on now. It's not about what's good for the country. It's not about what's good for America. It's just our side has to win. I truly believe that Democrat politicians would rather Trump fail, which means that the country is failing, in order for them to win. They wish things would be going bad for the country so it would look bad on him so that they could win. And that's not why they got elected. What happened to being in politics to better the country? If you don't like Trump, that's fine. But if the economy is better than it has been in years, shouldn't you be happy about that? But they're not happy. It burns them up. They're not happy. Even though that's even though that's great for America, that doesn't make them happy. It burns them up because they don't want what's best for America. They just want what's best for their party. They want to win. That's it. And man, if you've been to DC, I went, but it's been years ago. I was, obviously I'd never been there before. I was shocked. Good morning, Harley. Good to see you this morning, brother. I was shocked that, right behind the Capitol building, 2 blocks from the Capitol building, there were so many homeless people, just rough looking neighborhoods. There was a woman peeing on the sidewalk in a bus stop. I mean, 2 blocks from the Capitol. And yet, all those people are up there talking about what great uh, constituents they have and all the great stuff that they've done for their cities. Take a look at their cities and see how great they're doing. Good versus evil. Stephen, have a good day, brother. uh, Elvin, that's your fault. I'm blaming it all on you. It was too early to get fired up, but I got fired up anyway. Harley, how's the weather up there where you're at, brother? It rained all day yesterday and looks like it's going to rain most of the day today. Well, I think one wheel got off the rails, but we're coming back on. Raining. I don't even know how we got on that topic. It was probably Mike Tabor's fault. Mark Summers, Alabama has nut jobs too. I can top that. We were in oh man, all you got to do is say San Francisco, and that's 3 years ago. And while sitting at a local bar, I saw a middle-aged guy walking down the street with nothing on but a sock on his privates. And Mark, that's not the crazy part. The crazy part is they think that's normal. That's the crazy part. If somebody had went up and popped him in the eye and the police had came and arrested him, that would have been normal. But for them, no big deal. Freedom, express whatever you want, and everybody's supposed to be tolerant. Be tolerant to everything, and being tolerant has got us in the mess that we're in. Little Jimmy doesn't feel like a boy today. It's all right, little Jimmy. You can be little Jennifer today. And we're supposed to tolerate that. Can't do it. Mike says the strange thing is that you're an educator who doesn't believe that liberal crap. I thought it was a requirement. Well, it's close to getting that way. I'll be honest with you. Um, that that is what is ruining our schools. To be honest with you, and if I can ever get out of the education field and find a job doing something more towards grilling and barbecuing and stuff like that, or if I have to stay in it until I retire, whenever I leave the education field, I'm going to be sure to express my views on all that because it's just tolerant, you know. Um, and it's about money. There's no discipline. We can't discipline kids anymore at school. You know, kids are shocked when I tell them that when I was in elementary school, all of my teachers had paddles. Every one of my teachers had paddles, and if you showed your tail in class, they just pulled you out into the hallway and blistered your behind and set you back at your desk. And for the rest of the day, you didn't do anything else wrong, nor did anybody else in your class because they just saw what happened. But we can't do that anymore because now parents say, no, you can't paddle my baby. You can't paddle my baby. And the whole time the parents are telling you you can't paddle their baby, they're sending them to school with 20-ounce Mountain Dews and a pack of Twinkies for breakfast and don't know why they're off the chain in the classroom. So we can't paddle them, but yet we can't send them home because then that counts against our school for attendance, which ultimately takes away our points, which could affect how much money we get from the state. So we keep them there and just tolerate their behavior. So it's just teachers don't teach anymore. And it's not their fault. They can't. The state, and I'm sure it's different in every state, but our state, you've got to do this. You've got to show this poster. You've got to post this out in the hallway. You've got to include lesson plans that are 20 pages long for each day. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. Well, at what point are we going to teach? We've got to have a grandparents' day. We've got to have a parent picnic day. We've got to have a donuts with dad's day. We've got to have a dress up day. Every week we have something. Every week that has nothing to do with ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Every single week. We have something. Kids are dressing up for something. Something's going on. We got a party for something. We got party. We throw parties now for kids who did nothing but do what they were supposed to do. So they get a party. And the sad part is it's never going to go back to the way it used to be. We have passed that point. It's just like government subsidies. Government subsidies. They're never going to go away. We have passed that point. You've given all of these people free money. There's no going back now. Education is the same way. No, but there's not going to ever go back to being paddling at schools again. Regardless of what you think, some of those kids need to be lit up because it's not, or sent home. We don't have bus drivers. We're short on bus drivers all the time because people don't want to drive a bus anymore because they're trying to focus on going down the road and getting these kids home safely, and the kids are off the chain back there. But you can't kick them off the bus because then the parents are too unresponsible to bring the kids to school, so they're not going to come to school, so they're going to miss. That means they're absent, which again counts toward our attendance, thus how much money we're going to get from the state. So little Jimmy gets throws something out the window of a bus. The bus driver writes him up. And what happens? Little Jimmy is very remorseful for his actions. No, he's not. No, he's not. Evan says, so I don't have any kids. To be honest, I'm a little afraid to. I'm worried that someone is going to tell my child that they can identify as a giraffe, and I have to explain that. I've seen a couple of pretty cool posts lately. I think somebody on here, maybe Mark or somebody, has posted a few of them. I saw one this morning. It was a guy on a motorcycle, and he was in front of a bunch of bicyclers. And it says something like, this guy, this motorcyclist identifies as a bicyclist today and has broken all of the bicyclist records on his motorcycle. But it happens all the time. Some boy identifies as a girl, and he's still a boy, but can run track against all these girls and blows them out of the water. Or wrestling, a boy wrestling against girls, or, I can't even believe we're talking about that. I can't even believe that's even happening. But we're supposed to be tolerant of that. Why? We don't want to offend anybody. Sorry, but that's not normal. My wife subbed the other day. Oh, man. At the junior high, and one of the kids got mad and cussed at her because she asked them to be quiet and do their work. That's right. And you know what, Austin? Nothing's going to happen to that kid. Nothing. Nothing. Spud, good morning. Good to have you. Nothing's going to happen to that kid. And really, it's not the kid's fault because they haven't been shown how to act. They haven't been shown how to act. When you've got kids saying, and kids will tell you, you don't even have to ask. Kids will tell you anything basically because they just want to talk to somebody that'll listen to them because they don't get listened to at home. Kids will tell you anything. And when kids are telling you, my mama's not going to come pick me up anymore because she moved to another town. Well, are you going with her? No, she says she didn't want me to go. If that's the kind of parents that we're having today, it's no wonder that the kids are acting the way they are. So many kids today don't live with their mom and daddy. So many kids today don't even live with a mama or a daddy. They live with grandmama or aunts and uncles and sisters or whoever. He got So let's talk about this. And I can't believe we're talking about this on a barbecue channel, but so Austin says he got 2 days in school suspension. In school suspension came about for the exact reason that I was talking about earlier, because you can't send him home anymore. Well, we'll suspend him, but we'll just keep him at school. So he's still here. And basically, all that does is give him more attention because now he's singled out in a room. And really, if the teachers give him work, he may have work to do. If teachers don't send him work, he's gotten a free day. There's absolutely, that is not a deterrent for any kind of misbehavior. In school suspension, they could care less about in school suspension. Elvin, I agree. I agree to an extent. And by that, I mean, kids still have brains. They still can identify what's right and wrong and make decisions, but 90% of it is because they've never been taught. They've never been corrected. They don't get corrected. Too many parents today think that misbehavior and all that stuff is funny. They think it's funny and they post it on social media. Look what little Jimmy did today. He cut all of our cat's hair off or something, and they think that's funny. I had several days of that in school as well. It was a total free day. We had our work done in a few hours and then we took naps. That's right. It's not punishment. Harley says, when I would get in school suspension, the only thing it did was give me a chance to improve my grades from all of the classwork the teachers would send. And that's true. That's true. If you got suspended from school for 3 days, let's say, for those 3 days, whatever work was turned in, you got zeros for. That was the consequences. Not only did you miss school, but you were going to get zeros for any work that you missed. Now, just like Harley said, well, they're in there, so they get a chance to actually improve their grade by the work that they do in there. Mark, look at the little asses running around restaurants like crazy, parents ignoring them. I had the same experience this week, twice. Ladies in there with 5 kids. They are hitting each other, screaming, pulling stuff off the shelves. Everybody's like stopping and looking around like, what in the world's going on? She hadn't paid him any mind. I mean, like blinders and earplugs, nothing. They are going crazy. And then a couple of days later, I'm in the same grocery store, and there are kids running up and down the aisle. They are playing football with a pack of bagels. And when I go to check out, the customer in front of me asks, whose kids are those? You could hear them 3, 4 aisles over. And it was one of the manager's kids. We trick-or-treated with our little ones yesterday at our downtown business. It was insane to watch the other kids. It is. It I don't know. I don't know. But it's never going to go back to the way it was. Over here, the little shits run amok, and the law can't touch them because they're underage, and they get away with almost anything. Same here. Same here. And Matt, and Elvin, if you decide to have children, all you can do is teach them the right way. That's all you can do. You've got to teach them the right way. And that's all you can do. But it's hard because you've got kids like that. You've got kids that do the right thing. And what has happened in the schools is the kids that misbehave every day. And then they have a little counseling session with them. And so 2 out of the next 5 days, they didn't get any marks. Well, let's throw them a party. What about the kids over here that haven't gotten a mark in 3 years? What do they get? Well, yeah, but they're doing fine. We're trying to correct these. At some point, we got everything backwards. And that's the other thing I was thinking about, we baby kids so much. We're scared of everything, Oh, you can't do that. Oh, I don't want my babies doing this. Oh, me and Brandy were talking a couple weeks ago, I thought, why don't we like decorate the house for Halloween and, have a little scary trail through the yard when they come get the candy and stuff like that. And then I thought, wait a minute. We can't even do that anymore because people don't even trick or treat at night anymore because it's too dangerous. Now it's like between 5 and 7 is trick or treat. When I was a kid, there was no time. The time was right when the sun was going down, and you trick or treated until your little legs was about to fall off. In the dark, There's no trick or treating after dark anymore. As soon as that sun goes down, everybody's got to run inside. Oh. Elvin, that's a good point too. I think if we could find a way to have it so that one parent stays at home, but now you are almost required to have 2 incomes just to survive. And you're right, I agree with you. Here's the bad part about that though, Elvin. What I have found, this is just an observation, but what I have found is the parents that both of them are working, most of the time those parents aren't the problem. Most of the time the parents that are the problem are the ones that are sitting at home all day in their pajamas and their slippers that don't have a job and aren't trying to have a job, even though there's help wanted signs throughout town. I have found that those parents, because they are home all day, have more of an opportunity to spend with their kids are the ones that we're talking about. So I don't think it's the parents that are working, even if both of them are working. For the most part, I have found that household to be still a productive, conducive household. Mark, that's a good point. Birds of a feather flock together. So try to keep your kids around the other good ones. That's what I was going to say a while ago. Is when you try to teach your kids the right way, ultimately at the end of the day, they're going to be thrown in classrooms where at least half of the kids, depending on where you live, are not going to be taught the same way that you're trying to teach your child, if that makes sense. So you're going to have to fight that battle too. Harley, I'm going to try to do some chicken fajitas on the Gaucho grill today if the rain holds off. Uh, but it just depends. I wanted to cook on it last night, but I mean, it rained all day. So yeah, we went off the rails right there on the education. I'm just going to blame it on Mike Tabor. My wife quit full-time work when our son started school. Financially hurt like hell. I drive two over 100,000 mile vehicles. Yeah, my truck just hit 195,000 miles. Cooper the Great just sat through a week of jury duty for child abuse from a daycare worker. Let's just say the kid was one of those you are talking about, and so was mom. Verdict not guilty. Spare the child, spoil the rod. Or spare the rod, spoil the child. Russell Cooks, good morning to you. But out of all that stuff, what makes it better is firing up an old grill, smelling some smoke, listening to a sizzle of the grill, the meat juices dripping on the hot coals. And hopefully that's what I get to do today. Hopefully we get to film it and I can put it out there early in the week this week. All right, guys, again, if you will, hit that thumbs up button for me. I appreciate all of you. We're going to get off of here today, see if we can get this day started. I hear the raindrops out there, so it's raining right now, but hopefully it'll clear up. I hope all of you have a great day. Yes, Austin, that should be a, cologne. I think Dudley would make a great cologne name, Austin. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you, Mark. Gavin, good day, mate. I'm bathing in it right now. Austin, I don't need that visual, man. Albert, good morning. We were just about to get off, man. Good morning to you. Hope everything's doing well in your parts. I hope everybody has a great day. Avoid the rain if you can. I'm going to try to. I may put a canopy up just to kind of get out of it a little bit, but I'm going to try to get it fired up. Rick Short, good morning. We were fixing to end the old live stream, but I'm glad you got on here, man. Good to see you. I know it, Albert. It rained all day yesterday too. Hopefully it slacks up a little bit and we can get some smoke rolling today. All right, guys, I appreciate you. I'm going to try to make a video today. If I do, I'll have it up before the Wednesday night show. If not, I will see you guys Wednesday night. Until then, I'll be piddling.